Get your ass to the coffee club. Get your ass to the coffee club. Get your ass to the coffee club. Let me tell you right now.
There you go. Did you drink some more water?
No, I didn't drink any of your water.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Coffee Club, episode number 2. I'm Zach.
And I'm Luke.
We'll be going over the second almost full week of the Premier League after the return. So we got a Prem table overview. What you got?
Okay, so what we're looking at is Liverpool in first, obviously.
This will go right here.
Man City, of course. Then Leicester and Chelsea in fourth. With y'all right behind in 5th points, 2 points behind, tied with Wolves. So both you and Wolves, you as in Manchester United, are 2 points behind Chelsea, battling out for 4th place.
Yeah. So let's see. No, first off, Liverpool. So they dropped some points. That doesn't really matter? Do you think? Not really.
Yeah, the point drop that matters not.
Right. I mean, they could lose. They need to win one more game before they win, right? Or 2 more games before they win.
Something like that. It's very soon. I mean, they dropped points and are still 20 points ahead. I think they're playing right now still. So and they're winning as well. So they'll be right back at 23 points ahead.
And then looking at Liverpool, everybody talking about Player of the Year.
Player of the Year.
Jordan
Henderson, the best in the league.
So I can at least think of 10 players, at least 5 players that are better than Jordan Henderson.
5 easily, and you don't even need a deep dive on that. I mean, just off the top of the dome. I mean, you want to go back and forth on a couple?
No, let's save it, y'all. We got next episode's going to be 5 players that should win Player of the Season over Jordan Henderson.
Drop down in the comments your top 5 players of the league season.
Yeah, let's hear what you got. See how wrong you are compared to us. Number 3, we got City just doing City things.
Yep, I mean, it's really crazy that they're 20 points behind Liverpool currently, as good as they are. It makes you wonder, it's been such a long break, it makes you wonder what the heck was happening, you know? Because, I mean, they're even 20 points behind Liverpool. When you watch them play, they still appear to be head and shoulders above every other team besides Liverpool.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Liverpool has just been doing a Notre Dame this year. A little college football reference for you. Just having a horseshoe stuck up their ass every game.
Yeah, a little bit of officiating, a little bit of luck, and I mean, obviously some great gameplay. But aside from that, there's been some. They've pulled some games back from having no business should have won it.
I just feel like Liverpool goes for broke every time. They're not trying to tie. They're trying to win the game. And
it kind of is starting to look like nowadays that's how you win the league.
It's turning into the NBA 3-point shot.
Yeah, because it used to be like a tie's good. A tie, you didn't lose. I mean, you don't want to tie every game, but you certainly don't want to lose games. When you've got teams competing, like Man City making 100 points last season. When you're competing that tight, you almost can't tie. You're better going for the win, going for 3 points,
exactly.
And throwing everyone forward.
You can lose 2 games and win 1 game, and that's the same as 3 ties.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's worked to great effect for them. I mean, even if they had tied some of those games, it wouldn't matter because they've just ran away with it. But yeah, I completely agree. They go for it.
Has Liverpool outgrown the Premier League? With Chelsea joining Chelsea in that
people,
echelon.
People would have you thinking that, at least try to, I mean, talking about the Klopp dynasty, it's like hasn't even won the league yet. They're talking about I saw not to call anyone out, but a prominent YouTube channel talking about how if Klopp stays there for 10 more years, how they could see him winning it 5 or 6 times. It's like 5 or 6 times out of 10, he hasn't won it once yet. We've got this City team that's great, Chelsea strengthening, United strengthening. Like, there's going to be competition for this league next year. Mark it. I'm not saying Liverpool's not going to win, but I'm saying they're not going to run away with it like they did this year.
And we've seen it the past 5 years. There's every champion is going to be the next champion automatically next year.
Oh yeah,
and it hasn't happened.
Yeah,
Conte came in, won, next year got the boot.
Yeah. When's the last time someone ran it back to back?
Did City do it this past 2 years? Yes, Man City 2019, 2018, Chelsea 2017.
Okay. So,
Leicester, City 2015, or no, Chelsea 2015, City 2014.
okay.
So, yeah.
So City, Chelsea, Leicester, Chelsea,
City.
United. But it doesn't happen often.
No.
United, the last time since City did it was Man United ran it 3 years in a row. But that was 2006 to 2009.
Yeah.
So in the past 10 years, which it's a different league.
Oh, yeah.
Even particularly the past 5, like the past 3 or 4 years. Like, because when Leicester won it, I mean, that Leicester team would never win it now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With Pep and Klopp in the league and just things the way they are. Which, speaking of which, that year Arsenal would have won the league if we would have signed an outfield player. But that was an absolute miscarriage of justice on Arsene Wenger's part. But
It happens.
Yeah. Anyway.
Moving on.
Moving on.
We got Leicester drop points. They've been looking kind of shaky.
Yeah.
They tied both games since they've been back.
Well, so dropping points, and when you're doing that, it's not a good look for top 4, like my prediction before the league started. So they're not making me look very smart right now.
It's okay, dude. They've got Everton left, Arsenal, Spurs, and United to play. United plays them the last game of the season.
So that could be a big game.
So if you already count those 3 points that United's going to get when they beat them,
yeah. Well, you can also
3 more points.
You can also count the 3 points that they're going to get when they play Arsenal. So.
Yeah, but I'm counting. We're going to win. Y'all are going to lose. So we just need to win 3 more points.
Yeah, I know.
We need to catch on 3 of them.
We were just saying they're definitely going to be Arsenal. That's the point I was getting at. They have 3 free points in that run-in.
We'll cry about Arsenal here in a little bit. Chelsea plays tomorrow. They play City.
Ooh.
Hopefully that's a L.
I don't see a way City loses that game right now. I mean, they came out in the game versus Arsenal. We looked pretty good the first 10 minutes, and then, I mean, had injury after injury, David Luiz mistake after David Luiz mistake. But, I mean, apart from just all the nonsense that went on that game, when you could tell when they decided to turn the tempo up, they turned it up and they pulled us apart. I mean, just stretched us from side to side, front to back. They're creating space at will and just knocking it around like there was no break.
Just utter class.
Yeah, I mean, and they have a player on their team, a few players that are almost as good as Jordan Henderson.
Right.
So I mean,
a couple.
So what are you gonna do?
But I did watch the Chelsea Aston Villa game.
Yes,
I believe you did too.
Yes.
Chelsea looked pretty good. They were creating a lot outside. Like a lot was going through Willian coming in, crossing balls in. They fell asleep, and that's how they got scored on.
Yeah.
But with Ziyech coming in next year, taking Willian's spot, presumably, and then with the addition of Timo Werner, even if they don't sign anybody else, they're still going to be pretty solid, I would think.
I think they have a ridiculous midfield. I think they have... I mean, Liverpool's midfield is great for what Klopp wants their midfield to do, And then you have City's midfield that's just ridiculous. I mean, now that we've seen Pogba and Fernandes together, y'all's midfield looks great. But, I mean, I think City's midfield is class. I mean, Conte, Kovacic, Jorginho, any of those players are moonwalking into...
Loftus-Cheek.
Look, I mean, he's a good player. I haven't seen so much of him. I mean, he's been hurt. I know he's back now. I haven't seen enough to really comment on that. But, I mean, those 3 players are class. And I mean, I would take any of those 3 at any day of the week. But yeah, I think you're right. I think they have some work to do on the back line, and I'm not convinced at all by Kepa, however you pronounce his name.
And they still got Liverpool and Wolves to play.
So
that's two tough games for them.
Yeah, Liverpool's a very tough game. Wolves are looking tough right now as well.
And then moving on to Manchester United. Top 4 is on, boys. Let's go. Brogba. Today, during the game, looked great.
I mean, Bruno Pagnandes? Is that
Bruno Pagnandes? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Pogba at an 8, and and Fernandes at a 10. I thought looked great. They can play off each other. They finally have someone to play off each other.
Are we gonna hit it with an official myth busted?
Myth busted. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think it's there. I think Matic is that nice little, don't worry guys, if something happens, I got this kind of thing.
Certainly.
And, he's getting old, but 3 or 4 years ago, he was the best DM in the league.
Yeah. He was
he's won multiple championships, multiple Premier Leagues. He's on the ball. He's very calm. He's not super mobile, but he doesn't really need to be.
We watched the Man United Sheffield United game right before this, and I saw him burst past a few people.
He's not afraid to scoot.
Yeah, there is more to that than I thought at his age.
Mm-hmm.
A player, if I were in charge at Man United, I would be looking at bringing in a successor to that role for
Absolutely.
sure. But for the rest of the season, him sitting there, maybe next year, he looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Fred's no slouch. McTominay's coming up. Your midfield's looking really good, especially knowing now that Pogba and Fernandes can certainly play together.
Yeah, I don't see why people thought it was going to be an issue.
I understand why they thought it was an issue, because and the issue is Pogba's work rate. But I feel like Pogba is a physical specimen. If you can get Pogba to work, he can play defense. He just has to want to play defense.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He just has to want to work. And, speaking as someone that's outside looking in on Manchester United, I think Pogba was concerned about having players that could play with him.
Mm-hmm.
And Bruno Fernandes is a baller, and he can certainly play with him.
Baller.
You already see it just in the 2 games we've seen them play together. The 1-2 passes, the flicks, the give and goes, like those types of things that, there was not really anyone else in that midfield prepared to do that with Pogba.
For sure, I totally agree. And I don't think it's a work rate thing like he's lazy. It's not something like that. I think he just gets he's like, what's the point? If the team's slugging along, he's the only one out there trying. Why should he bust his butt to get back and make that tackle? But lately, he's looked like he wants to get back and make that tackle.
And honestly, when I've seen him on the pitch, y'all have dominated possession so much. There really hasn't been much there hasn't been much defensive work needed. Now that might change versus a Liverpool or someone like that. You might even look to drop Pogba for that game, bring him on later in the game, something like that. To get some more defensive soundness. But as far as I'm concerned, it's a myth busted. Especially against sides that you plan on dominating possession on. I think at this point they have to play together.
Yeah. It's our only world-class player with an arguable world-class player.
He can really make the claim for that next season.
We can bust that myth next season.
Yeah.
Rashford was a little off the pace for the past 2 games. He broke his back. I got to give my boy a pass.
He's been busy feeding children.
Feeding children and feeding Martial for that hat trick today, bro. 2 assists. True. Martial, first hat trick since 2013.
Wow.
In the league. That's a long time.
Y'all's first hat trick or his?
Yes.
Okay.
His first hat trick career, period.
Okay.
Our first hat trick since 2013.
Okay, that makes sense. I didn't know if he had one at Monaco or not, but y'all bought him so early.
Yeah. So we're 2 points off Chelsea and 6 points off Leicester currently.
Okay.
That Chelsea still has to play.
And Leicester is
in a tailspin right now.
Yeah.
But look, right on our heels is Wolves, tied with us, same amount of points. They've won their past 2 games. They still got to play y'all and Chelsea. Arsenal and Chelsea.
They're looking serious, and everyone in the world wants their striker right now. I don't know if you've been seeing the transfer news.
Is it blowing up on
everyone wants Raul Jimenez. You know, everyone wants a piece of him. And, I mean, great player, but, I mean, I've seen some ridiculous stuff.
He's kind of old.
I think he's 28.
29, something
like
that.
Yeah, I can search it real fast. 29.
29, so.
Yeah. He's 6'3".
He's a big boy.
He's a big boy, yeah. To Arsenal.
And that takes us to Arsenal.
Arsenal. What do you want to know about Arsenal?
Would you say they're in a little meltdown right now? What do you think?
I would say we are in a full-blown meltdown. Press the ejector seat. Get out while you can. If you're looking at a team to be a fan of, don't pick Arsenal. Yeah.
Those are some strong feelings.
Strong words. That's where we're at.
Why?
This could be an hour-long episode. Why? Where should I start? Where do you want me to start it off at? The board, the manager, not so much his fault. The players, the culture.
So, shit. Let's take a deep dive in another episode.
Okay.
But, like, what's going on? What's the problem?
Key points?
Quick key points.
Key points, the players aren't good enough.
Okay.
They're not.
Is the coach good enough? To be determined?
It's to be determined. I 100% back Mikel Arteta.
Uh-huh.
He was an Arsenal guy, captained Arsenal. Mm-hmm. He knows what the club's all about.
Mm-hmm.
He's never had a real job as a manager. He coached under Pep for 3 years. You hear nothing but great things about him. I definitely think he understands the game. Mm-hmm. And from what I understand, he was a good man manager, because from what I've heard, Pep isn't very great at that, but is great at getting results. So I can't say anything about him. He's been handed just a terrible bunch of players, and people. We got rid of Wenger, which it was time for Wenger to go. You can say he could have gone earlier, but people called for his head, and it was disrespectful, number one. Then they bring in Unai Emery, who, you could kind of tell by his pedigree wasn't going to be able to fix it. He was like a Band-Aid, and he was supposed to just go one season, Europa League specialist, get us back into the Champions League. He failed to do that. And then, and then I'm getting too deep on the deep dive because I was going into how the boy Raul Senier, he wanted to extend his contract when he was underperforming drastically, so that would have been terrible to start with. But anyway, we sack Unai Emery, and everyone thinks everything's his fault. We go through an interim manager, then we get Arteta, and lo and behold, what it really comes down to is the players. Do I think Unai Emery was a great manager? No, I don't. But we have some dead wood in this squad. I mean, right now, Mustafi is our best center back, who was a meme last season. A meme at the beginning of this season.
Yes.
Our fucking captain, Koscielny, fucks off to France for less money because we kept throwing him into games because he was our only competent center back, and he was coming off an injury, and I'm sure was in chronic pain because we needed someone to save the day, and he's the only person who knew how to play defense. So he fucks off to try to fix that and patch that hole. We get David Luiz in, and I mean,
he's a walking red card at this point.
Oh, he has. I'm pretty sure the stat is a red card. It's either every 4 or every 6 games in an Arsenal shirt.
Ooh.
I believe he has 4 this season.
Oh,
and it's just insane. And it doesn't stop there because our defense is horrible. Our midfield might be worse. And it really might be. And the problem with that is it makes the defense look worse than it is, because there is just no one giving them any support. If you watch the City games, the center back and the line drops off, and it just the space between the midfield and the defense is stretched, and De Bruyne could do a fucking couple cartwheels through the middle and still score a goal, and no one would pick him up. It's just insane. And then on top of that, probably people want to say Aubameyang's our best player. We would probably be in the relegation zone without Leno right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not lying. I mean, we're 10th right now. If you throw a different keeper between the sticks, I mean, we might not be in relegation zone, but we might be in 15th.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he has been popping off. People can say what they want about his distribution. I think it's fine. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's not Ederson, but I mean, he's been making save after save, double saves. Just when it comes to shot stopping, he's been killing it. So, I mean, there's that. And then to round all it, like I said, we'll deep dive on the midfield later, but moving forward on that, we've got one player who can score goals. Oh, and besides that, Leno went down, twisted his knees, at least out for 6 weeks. And then on the top half of the pitch, one guy who can score goals, Aubameyang, and he's a striker playing left wing. You know, you can argue if that's better for him or not, you know, but it's just not. There's not one part of the team that's functioning the way it should be functioning right now.
Is Arsenal officially not a top 6 club?
Definitely.
Okay.
For sure. I mean, City, Liverpool, United, Chelsea, and as much as I hate to say it, Tottenham are all definitely better than we are right now. And I mean, you know, Wolves, you've got Sheffield, you've got Leicester. I mean, all these teams. I'm not saying. I mean, we are the definition of mid-table right now. Mm-hmm. And don't think it's... I mean, we've been unlucky, but that's with injuries, things like that. For instance, we bought Tierney to play left back, and him and Bellerin have just now, for the first time, I think, started the first game all year at the same time, which, I mean, that's who you would want, ideally, starting a left and right back every game. But, I mean... Don't think this is just some fluky... Chelsea's in 16th this season because they're, taking it out on Mourinho bullshit. This is... We are...
progressively downturn.
Yeah, we've been going downhill for years. 4 years.
I mean, it looks like a similar place that United was heading.
Yeah.
The same problem. You've got a new coach. You've got a board who's having a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
You've got players who don't care. You've
got
a goalkeeper saving you.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think the key difference between Man United and Arsenal is, though, at this point, y'all can throw enough money at a wall, and eventually some of it will stick. Yep. And that's what happens when you can afford players like Pogba and players like Bruno Fernandes. And don't take this the wrong way, because we've spent money, but we spent $50 million on Lacazette, who you can say what you want, but at this point, you can argue that he has flopped. Mm-hmm. He had one good season so far. And then you replace him with Aubameyang for $60 million. So you've spent $110 million on 2 strikers that you can't really get the best out of playing them together, and one's getting ready to either walk or you're going to sell him for peanuts. Mm-hmm. I mean, outside of that, we went with Granit Xhaka instead of N'Golo Kante. Yep. Which, he may have just wanted to go to Chelsea, who's to say, but he was available that window, and, we spent the money on Granit Xhaka, who, don't get me wrong, he's hot-headed and probably the least athletic person I've ever seen put on an Arsenal shirt, but
let's not give too much away, though. We want to give him enough to keep him hooked, to come back for the downfall of Arsenal video. With a nice little thumbnail right there.
Arsenal. Sorry. But, anyway, to sum it up, meltdown, full-blown.
And can it be fixed, yes or no? Yes or no?
I can't say yes or no. It's long-term, yes. Next season, no.
Do you have a plan? How do you know how to fix it?
I don't know how to... I can give suggestions on how I would go about fixing it, but there's people out there that get paid a lot more money than I do whose job it is to fix this, and they're doing a shit job right now.
Well, I feel you, but like I said, we'll get to that in a further episode.
Certainly.
In the near future. The close future, near future.
Near future.
Term, yes.
The nearest of future timelines.
Yes, along with the top 5 players who are better than Jordan Henderson.
Yes, certainly. At least 5 players.
Liverpool asterisk.
there might be 5 other players on Liverpool better than him, but we'll just sweep that under the rug for the story.
Exactly. It's all about a good story. Y'all, thanks for joining us on the Coffee Club.
It's been wonderful to have you.
And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, bright and early.
Bright and early.
Get your ass to the coffee club. Get your ass to the coffee club. Get your ass to the coffee club. Let me tell you right now,